A few weeks before the recent solo queue changes, I wanted to check in on the current state of solo queue, so I could compare it with the post 6.5.1 update that recently dropped. I ended up playing 20 games and my conclusion was this: it was not so good. I only escaped 5 times for a win rate of 25%. Now I don't think I'm entitled to wins or anything, but with roughly 900 hours and really trying my best, I kinda expected to do a little bit better, I'm not gonna lie. This was also because the last time I played a ton of solo queue, around September to November last year, and using this info-based build, I was escaping like all the time, which is weird because the killers just got all those base kit buffs. Maybe people were more focused on gens after that update or something, but all I know is that it was a completely different story in January, and maybe not for the reasons you might think. Besides, the obvious lack of communication between survivors, here's why I think I lost my games, from least annoying to most annoying. First, we have good killers. I'm talking about killers where they ended their chases quickly, they spread pressure well, they knew the map, their power, whatever. I think this is most people's least annoying type of loss as well. I imagine non-disgruntled survivor mains would have the same reaction as me, which is just, damn, got smoked, on to the next one. I saw pretty good killers in 4 games, 3 of which were against dredges. Maybe there were more and I just didn't notice, but these ones stood out a little bit more because they were able to snowball their pressure pretty quickly. This could be just from the fact that dredge has nice mobility, or that my team made some pretty major blunders against a solid knight player, but I think these killers deserve most of the credit here. Next in the annoying tier list, we have killers that are just very tough for solo queue to beat, and that includes a Plaything Pinhead, Condemned Sadako, and a hard 3-genning Knight. Pinhead is probably the easiest, but yeah, my team didn't really stand a chance with trying to find the box, do Plaything totems, and do gens with no communication. Against the Sadako, I really tried my best and kept moving the videotape, but eventually a teammate was worried and they snowballed from there. Finally, the Knight game was going fine, even with an early DC, and I was trying to fight the 3-gen that I saw with Deja Vu. Unfortunately, I could not communicate this to the Michaela on my team, who did the far gen and pretty much doomed us. These killers don't annoy me too much though. With the complexity of the game nowadays and the amount of unique killer powers, I realize that there will always be killers who can dunk on solo queue more easily than others, so what are you gonna do? With 7 games out of the way, we moved to the infamous tunneling and camping killers, which, believe it or not, I still don't find that annoying. Tunneling, I totally get why people hate it, but it is just straight up the most efficient way to win, and I'm not going to complain about players who just want to win. But camping is a little different because it is literally so boring for both sides. Like, I'm just straight up not playing. Unlike tunneling where I at least get a chase, and the killer is not really playing. At best, they're just nervously walking around a hook for 2 minutes. Just seems a bit silly to me. It's also the fact that I escaped against 2 killers who attempted to tunnel, so tunneling at least has some counterplay, while I died on first hook or very shortly after against the camping killers. The first was a Huntress, who I thought would be a fun game because of their first hatchet and the rare wooden fox add-on.
Holy f***! Alright, she finally left me. She went for easier prey. Holy!
But then they just camped and hard tunneled me off hook, so I guess not. Right after that was a Blight who randomly camped me, and I say randomly because he had 2 hooks prior and didn't camp those survivors. What did I do? I never got rescued, but joke's on him because I didn't kill myself, forcing him to stay the full 2 minutes, and my team did the gens and got out like they're supposed to. Honestly, I just hope he had fun. Probably tied with my camping and tunneling annoyance was teammates who just did not seem to be doing anything. Like, gens are just not getting done while the game is going on for quite a while. I'll also include the teammates who let me go to second stage in this Freddy game for no real reason other than no communication, I guess. Mainly it was matches like this Oni game on Garden of Joy that took over 7 minutes for the second gen to get done. Or against this Oni on Coal Tower where the streamer I was playing even commented that he thought more gens should have been done during my first chase. Even in this game against the twins where I escaped, I literally completed all 5 gens. What is everyone doing? Maybe it's archives or totems or they're just lost, but I know it's not gens. Finally, the most frustrating and annoying part of solo queue is the DCs. When someone DCs or kills themselves on hook, it's pretty much a guaranteed loss, and this happened 4 out of 20 times, or 20%. 20% instant losses. Yeah, this is absolutely my biggest frustration, especially when all 4 of these games were so winnable. I'm so tired of people quitting a game they willingly chose to play, and I'm tired of behavior literally having working survivor bots, but refusing to implement bot replacement to curb these ruined games. After the DC, these games aren't fun for anyone, and I wish the people who DC whenever they aren't having a good time would just quit the game for good. Now go ahead, type your "I only DC when blank" comment. I'm sure the reasoning is valid when you do it. And if you want to comment about DCing as killer, just pause and read this screen. Now I know 20 games is not enough of a sample size for anything. This was really just more of a vibe check, as the kids put it, to see how solo queue was feeling. And I gotta say, it was not feeling too good. Whether from good killers, bad teammates, lack of comms, or tough killer strategies, solo queue felt mostly like a complete gamble with not great odds every time I readied up. If you want to see how the complete games went, you can check out the full VODs through the link in the description. If you're watching this within the first few days of upload, then you can also catch me streaming the next 20 solo queue games to compare with the new buffs in place next week on Twitch. If not any of those, then I'll just see you in part 2 of this video series. And if you don't watch that video when it comes out, then I'll kill you.